I'll put on cloud recording first. Yeah, because there is no message also.
Yes.
So we start. Okay, I'll
A very
start
good
cloud. Oh yeah, start.
a
Yeah.
very good evening to all the students present here, and my very dear Amit madam and Pranali madam from the Gender Equity, and I think Madhura ma'am has also joined in.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, there is one logo of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
Madhura
there.
ma'am. Yes.
okay, okay. So, ma'am, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Great pleasure.
Yeah,
Same here, ma'am.
we welcome Dr. Madhura Kalamkar, principal of Law College, and also a member of our Gender Equity Committee. Thank you, ma'am, for giving your evening time and making this occasion special. A very warm welcome to all our students, the participants, as well as the audience for this beautiful evening, just a day before the occasion of International Women's Day. We have been born and brought up in a society where the notion of genders have been very strongly put into our brains. Even till date, you have blue for the boys, pink for the girls, doll for a girl, a car for a boy. Gender equity is trying to break those notions, and taking this ahead, we have the selection of gender champions, and today we will be seeing the views of some students who have very beautifully made presentations for breaking the bias in the breaking the bias of gender when it comes to profession. So today we are living in a world where we have to broaden ourselves. We need to broaden our thoughts and not just stick into the box which we have been made to fit into. There is something called as out of box. And I think precisely Gender Equity Committee, under the able guidance of our principal and the team of vice principals, Amit ma'am, and all our team members, we have been striving down to create awareness about gender equity, create awareness about inclusion of everybody, and break those traditional notions that we have about the gender. And so the step towards this is we have had some lecture series by some eminent personalities, and also we have the selection of gender champions, which is the student representatives who will be the torch bearers for the committee's work, and they will spread the message about gender equity to the fellow students who are there. So a very, very warm welcome and thanks to all the students who have participated in this event. I'll request Amit ma'am to just address these students.
Yeah, in fact, uh, I'm very thankful and to Deepak Pujari sir because he managed so well. Pranali madam will also accept this, that he has done and structured the whole show so very well that the nuances and the intricacies are well handled by only Deepak sir. As being a dancer, he knows how to handle things artistically and aesthetically, and that is what urgently is required in gender equity. Thank you, sir, for being there and organizing everything. And me and Pranali madam and Madhura madam are extremely thankful to you. Coming to the purpose of having gender champions, I would like to present before you a small slideshow. Now you are doing that. Why should I be left out? Let us be at par with each other. Okay. So keeping that note in mind, with a very positive contention, I will share my PowerPoint. So this is the one which is there as a welcome note to all of you. And here we are. So what is meaning gender equity? Means gender equity is the process of being fair to women and men. To ensure fairness, strategies and measures must often be available to compensate for women's historical and social disadvantages that prevent women and men from otherwise operating on a level playing field. Equity leads to equality. Gender equality requires equal enjoyment by women and men of of socially valued goods, opportunities, resources, and rewards. This is said by United Nations Population Funds. But the contemporary times has become aware of the third gender, and therefore the others are to be included. So the purpose is to make ourselves sensitized about gender issues and create the all-inclusive attitude that will build bridges among gender categories. But the contemporary times has become aware of third gender, and therefore the others are to be included is again repeated, because this is a major reason that we are having gender equity. Usually gender is only divided into two parts, male and female, but we have the whole lot, and the postmodern philosophy emphasizes a lot on the third gender as well, to make the society all inclusive. So the purpose is to make ourselves sensitized about gender issues and create the all-inclusive attitude that will build bridges among the gender categories. Purpose of this PPT presentation is to sensitize our student and teacher community about the role played by different gender categories to incorporate human beings in our day-to-day lives. Let us celebrate on the eve of International Women's Day that whatever I am, I exist. Whoever I am, I exist. Wherever I am, I exist. So your power is your radical self. Find it, says IOJV. And Gloria Steinem says a gender equal society would be one where the word gender does not exist, where everyone can be themselves. Thank you very much. And I hand over again to Deepak sir. Please.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that beautiful presentation. Especially that last line was a really punch line, that whatever it is, I am. Okay,
am.
so it is I am, rather I will say we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to give a background.
Yeah, just this is the highlight of existential philosophy, which has incorporated the third gender very
Yes.
loudly. And this is, of course, I framed it in my way, and it just spontaneously just came that I exist. And the credit goes to these masters. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Just to give a background of what we are doing exactly to the students who have joined in, we gave a theme to our students about breaking of gender bias in the professions. What has happened is we have labeled down certain professions to a particular gender, that if it is a particular profession, it only has to be done by the men. If it's a particular profession, it has to be only done by women. Third gender का तो कोई बात ही नहीं करता है. But then there are very good examples where men have excelled in fields where it was identified as a field for females, and women have also carved a niche in the field of men. And
Absolutely.
even the transgender community is not behind. So we felt that it would be a very good opportunity for our students to find out about such personalities and read about them, get sensitized and present. And out of those presentations, we have selected few of the very good presenters, and we would like, I have already given them the order. So what I will be doing is, to all the participating students, I have already instructed you, I will be handling your slides. You just have to say next slide, sir, next slide, whenever you wish that it has to be a next slide. You can just prompt me that the next slide has to be put in. So I'll welcome our first participant as per the order list. It is Adarsh Gupta from FY Biotech. I'll just share the screen for his presentation. Okay, Adarsh.
So can I?
Yeah, just a minute. I'll make it full screen, then you can start. The participants, please note you have a maximum of 7 minutes, and you have to finish it off in the 7 minutes with the conclusion. Adarsh, you can start.
So good evening everyone, respected teachers and all my dear friends. My name is Adarsh Prashant Gupta and I'm from FY Basic Biotechnology. So today we are talking about gender equity. What does it mean? According to me, it simply means that there is no discrimination between male, female and other genders. So we all are equal since we are made from same atoms. Just the configuration is different and the mixture is different. So that makes different from one another's, like DNA. which is different from each other. So next slide, please. So today I'm going to talk about that gender which we mostly underrated, like transgender. So I'm going to talk about Dr. V.S. Priya, which is the first transgender doctor of Kerala, and she had really make a mark that yes, this community can also make the development of nation and global. So Dr. V.S. Priya was born as male, but she realized her feminine character during her childhood and teenage when the hormonal changes started, which is usually start during teenagers. She used to hide her identity in front of her parents, in with her friends and society, because she thought that if she would reveal her identity to her parents and in front of everyone, that she may get teased and get bullied and may not accepted by her parents and in front of society. But she had kept her identity uh, high till she completed her studies in BAMS, which is a Bachelor in Ayurvedic Medical Science in Vedantram, which is situated in Allur, Thrissur in 2013 as a man, because she was born as a male, so she had to kept her identity close and had to work in face in front of someone as a man. As we all know that we all face a common question when we arrive at the age of marriages, like what are the qualification we have. So she had also think that she will also face the same thing. So she had continued and completed her studies beyond BAMS, like MD in Mangaluru. And she used to told that it was very difficult for her to live more like manly than that she was not, because it was very difficult for her to maintain her identity as a man, from walking style to dressing style like man. And it was particular thing that she had made that she will not reveal her identity to anyone. But when she joined as a doctor in Sitaram Ayurveda hospital in 2018 as a doctor, that where things come changes. And she said that her parents were feel proud of her, because she had completed and become a doctor as a man, not female. Sir, next slide, please. Sir, next slide. But then she thought that till when she will live like this. So she gained confidence, and she thought that she should reveal her identity to her parents. And she gained, and she also told her parents about her identity, about her feminine character, which she feels. And and she told everything about her feminine character to her parents. When her parents heard this, they feel more guilty and saddened, because they thought that how her child was living like a man from childhood. And they feel very sad. But they supported her, and her mom stood by her with her numerous surgeries which she had undergone. She had undergone 6 surgeries, which cost her too much, and the cost of surgeries was mostly paid by her parents. Like 95% of surgeries of cost was paid by her parents, and only 5% of surgery cost was paid by Dr. V.S. Priya from her savings. She had also told that she had to undergo 2 more surgeries, like voice therapy and cosmetic surgery. Before surgery, she was tensed and very she was very tense. She thought that whether society will accept her or not after surgery. But when she had undergone surgeries and she had completed everything to become feminine, she was wonder and amazed, and she was felt like she was on the top of world. And when she see the people, they treat her like better than she was treated before, and she was very happy. And her previous name was Chinu, which simply means is a unisex name. When then she thought that to replace this name, and to kept her name Janaki. But her cousin, sister or brother, I don't know, but sister or brother has suggested to keep her name Priya, which means love by all, and that's what we can see. She get love from everyone when she uh, told her identity to everyone, and she lived independently and without any hesitation. Thank you, sir. Next slide, please. So my view on this is very simple, that still in our society, this community like LGBT didn't get their perfect status. Now also we can see when this community like we can tell, Hindi is a word like a chakka, which we use normally, which we should not use when they roam on a station. So we make fun of them, mostly male make fun of them. So this tells that we really don't respect this community in now today's life also. So they had to keep their identity close when they born, and so to get rid of bullying by peoples. But today's in today's generation, in 21st century, things are changing slowly, and this community is getting proper respect, and they're also getting equal rights. Yes, of course, not that much which is expected, but yes, they are getting, and they can make their life more better and beautiful than it was before in today's century. I mean, India government has also passed many laws and rights against this community that they can use and make their life better, and they can also get job in every sector, which we can see like just now I said about Dr. Vespriya. She got a job in medical science, and some example I also want to tell, like I'd heard that this community is also taking part in National Army, National Defense Academy, and also I think in some state, some of these people from this community also joining police force. So we as educated people spread the message of these people and science behind their behavior and their life. Because if we spread, we making people know about reality of these people, so they can not tease and they cannot make fun of them, hoping that in future this community will be getting equal opportunities. They will get, because now everyone is getting educated, so they can make use of the education in a right way, and this community will really make development for nation and world. Thank you. And lastly I want to tell in Hindi, sir, कि हम इनका नाम मोस्टली हिंदी में यूज करते हैं, लाइक व्हेन वी आर मूविंग, सपोज वी सी कि देखिए वो छक्का जा रहा है, और सभी कभी भी जब शुक्रवार आता है या व्हेनेवर फ्राइडे कम्स, वी मोस्टली टेल टू टीज आवर फ्रेंड, लाइक देख छक्के तेरा दिन आ गया. सो हम लोग इनका नाम क्यों यूज कर रहे हैं? पहली बात, इनका नाम यूज करके हम ऐसा दिखा रहे कि ये कम्युनिटी अभी भी नीचे है और आगे नहीं जा सकती. क्यों नहीं जा सकती? So Dr. V.S. Priya has really a perfect example of this community. We show that yes, we can also move up. Thank you. Hope I make able to understand you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Adarsh. And I think you actually did a very sensitive portrayal for the transgender community. And it is, in a fact, it is very wonderful that the young generation which is coming up now is so sensitive about these issues. So it was a nice presentation. Thank you so much, Adarsh. We have our second presenter for the day, Akash
Yes, sir.
Mahapatra. Okay, I'll just share your screen. Akash is a SY BSc student, and yes, Akash.
So can I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Good evening to all of my teachers and friends. My name is Akash Harishchandra Mahapatra from S5BSC Division. Today, I will like to tell you about a dancer. His name is Nartaki Nataraj. Please, sir. Nartaki Nataraj is a Bharatnatyam dancer awarded with many awards in Bharatnatyam. But the big achievement is the Padma Shri Award. In 2019, she was awarded the Padma Shri, making her the first transgender woman to be awarded the Padma Shri. The Padma Shri Award is not for her transgender identity because of her work doing more than 30 years in a Bharatnatyam only. She is disciple of Tanjore Sri K.P. Kittappillai. Sri Kittappillai was a direct descendant of Tanjore quarter. Nartaki was born in the third gender in a well-to-do family near Madurai. She was a subject to social ridicule and religions by family and society. However, her passion for a dance took her to Sri K.P. Kittappillai, who lived in Tanjore. She said his house and trained under him 15 years. She also worked with his as assistant in Tanjore Tamil University. Little Natraj would never step out during the daytime when the streets of Madurai are crowded. She feared being mocked at for his behavior mannerism. Long after the city slept, she and a friend headed to the railway tracks and deserted roads. They danced under the cover of darkness to the cinema song echoing from the distant touring of Turkeys. 2 decades, meaning 20 years, thence Natraj is Nartaki Natraj, an accomplished transgender Bharatnatyam artist, and her friend Sakti Bhaskar, also a dancer, has stayed with her through thick and thin. Both had a dance school, Velambalam Nandam Kali Kudam, school name, in Chennai, Madurai. She never had a childhood. She was thrown out from home when she was just 11 years old. She did not she did odd jobs. She struggled from even a single meal a day and somehow managed to finish schooling. All through, she kept alive her love for a dance as who as a 15 years old was searching for a guru who can teach her Bharatnatyam. Destiny took her to Tanjore where she found Kittappillai. She learned that the Kittappillai was the guru for stalwarts was like Hema Malini and Yamini Krishnamurti apart from Vijayanti Mala. Behind the every successful student there is a teacher also. In the case of Nartaki Nataraj, he has Sri Kittappillai. She specialized in Tanjore-based Nartaki Bhava tradition. She said, the soul is neither male or female. Nartaki, by the Nartaki. Nartaki currently lives Chennai and travels extensively within outside India, preserving and propagating the pristine of a tradition that is many centuries old. So next slide, please. I think gender equality is the basic begins in the mind. It is an individual perception of treating another person at a part of himself or herself. Gender equality does not happen in a one day. It is more for practice that you do every day. Observing a Mother's Day or a Father's Day or International Women's Day is a meaningless if you do not understand the curse of meaning of equality. Gender equality is not a human issue. It is a human issue. It affects us all. Gender equality is a badly rooted in our society, which forces girls to face several crimes from the birth, like dowry. The reasons are the dowry, selective sex rejection, etc. Empowering girls will empower the country and can double its present power in the future. We should not look a person by a male, female, others. We should look first by a human being. Then maybe our society understand the meaning of equality. That's all. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you,
good.
Akash, for this
Very
crisp presentation. And that was a very beautiful line that was used, that we need to see an individual as a human and I
The
would just
soul
like to
doesn't have male or
yes,
female.
yes. And I would just like to quote from my experience. I have met Nartaki Nataraj, and I was fortunate that Madam had come to our dance institute to take a
Oh, great,
workshop,
great.
and the way she expressed, the beautiful lines which she said, I will never forget. When we congratulated about the Padma Shri, the very first thing was Madam said that the Padma Shri, don't think that because I am a transgender I have been awarded the Padma Shri. That Padma Shri is for my efforts in Bharatnatyam. And the first presenter also talked about a transgender personality. But see the stark difference. There was one personality who was supported by the parents, and then there is Nartaki Nataraj who had nobody to support. But then, with sheer passion for dance, these people have carved a niche that today Nartaki Nataraj is one of the most sought after dancers in Bharatnatyam. And Guru Kitappa Pillai really supported her. And she is, the way she talks about her Guru, it's much more like a parental figure. So thank you, Akash, for choosing such a wonderful personality. And people also get to know about that such people do exist, and they have created a totally different field. Okay, we have our next participant, Aditi Singh.
Yes.
Aditi?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Aditi, can you be just a little louder?
Am I audible now?
Yeah. I'll share the screen. Yes, Aditi, you can start.
Okay, thank you, sir. A very good evening to everyone present here. I'm Aditi Singh from second year biotechnology. First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy Women's Day, which is supposedly tomorrow. But yeah, this is a day where we celebrate the uniqueness of women all around the globe. And as we all know, so next slide. As we all know, we are gathered here. So can you please click enter? As we all know, we are gathered here to discuss and present our opinion on people who decided to break the gender boundaries and chose their career without thinking about what the society would say. I feel honored to introduce you to the person I idolize. Meet Alisha Abdullah, also known as nation's first female racing champion. Just to give you a gist about who Alisha is and what she has achieved, Alisha stood third overall in a national championship which had 15 men. She was a national Polo Cup champion in 2012, finishing eighth. She was in 2011, she finished eighth again. And yeah, she was the national champion year two. In 2010, among 24 men, she was the only woman and she finished 10th. This was the very first year of her professional car racing career. So next slide. We all have been hearing the baseless stereotypic statements that have been passed for women throughout the generation, such as women suck at driving or women are not at all good drivers. Was it an accident? A woman might be driving. But here is Alisha breaking all those stereotypes with her high speed driving skills, wearing a driver's suit and helmet. Just to give a background of who she is and how she developed this amazing passion of being a super bike racing champion. Alisha was born and brought up in Chennai. While as Deepak sir earlier said, how from a very early age we have been bifurcated on the basis of the color, on basis of color, as in for boys it's blue and for girl it's pink, for boys it's cars and speed and motorcycles, whereas for girl it's Barbie doll. Alisha was only 9 when she decided that she'll be a racer. Her father, who was a super bike racer, she got inspired by him. She saw him and she thought, maybe this is what I should do as well. Where other girls, and she took her baby steps by participating in go-karting championships initially. While other girls were busy decorating their Barbie dolls, Alisha won her first go-karting championship at the age of 13. As her parents saw her passion for bikes and speed, they gifted her a super bike as she turned 18, as she turned an adult, which encouraged her even more. And she was more drawn towards the speed, the career of being a super bike racer. As the parents gifted her a super bike, she made her career bikes. She made her love for bikes her career. In 2006, she debuted as the National Road Racing Championship in National Road Racing Championship, which is also known as UCAL. She proved herself by winning several awards and championships. This Diana Patrick, just to give you a summary of who Diana Patrick is, she is also a female biker or super bike racer. She's from the States. So Alicia was inspired a lot by her, she says. And she's been always, whenever she gets a chance, she always gives all the credits to her parents. She says her parents are the one who supported her throughout her career, and they made her who she is. So next slide. If you ask about how I feel about Alicia as a woman or as a girl myself, I feel proud and happy for another woman who paved her way in spite of how conservative our society can be when it comes to a career which is so highly male dominated. Alicia is not only an inspiration, first of all, she's also, her name is also written in the history to be the first ever female superbike racer champion in the country, which makes her more special and different from other people. I personally believe that people who break these gender norms, people who go beyond the gender barriers, are have they have the guts to question the toxic masculinity that we have in the roots of society these days. And it's something that we all should be proud of. Alicia has proved that if you're passionate enough, if you think that you can do whatever you can in a particular thing, no matter what gender you come from, no matter what background, no matter what society, you can achieve it no matter how many people are against you. Often when she talks about all the negative remarks that she gets, she about her career choice and about her gender, she majorly shuts them out with all her achievement, with all her trophies and medals. And overall, to conclude, I always been inspired by her, and she's an inspiration, and she will always be remembered in history. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Aditi. And you took a very wonderful personality. Even I had no idea that we have such a woman biker. And what you said is very correct, that we have stereotyped it so much that in fact today the stereotyping is such that you can watch a woman in a car, driving a car or a scooty. But when you see a woman on a bike, it's always a surprise. And if it's a sports bike, it is obviously a big surprise to the men.
Exactly.
And this was a very beautiful talk. Thank you, Aditi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
I'll invite our next participant, Akansha Ghogle. Akansha?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll just share your presentation. Akansha is our TYBSc zoology student. Yes, Akansha, you can start.
Thank you, sir. Greetings to everyone present in the meeting. Good evening. I'm Akanksha, and today I'm going to be talking about a personality who very well broke the gender boundaries of work and proved that sky is the limit for anyone who has a will to do good. I grew up watching Hindi movies, a lot of Hindi movies, dramatic court sequences, a lawyer shouting at top of his lungs, saying, "Milord, isko saza milni chahiye." Well, that got me thinking, why haven't I heard of a lady yet? Until I came across this incredible woman, Ruth Ginsburg, a leading architect of modern day women's movement and fight for equality. Justice Ginsburg is a landmark. In 1993, she ascended the pinnacle of her profession when she was appointed to the US Supreme Court, the second woman ever to do so. In Ginsburg's own statements, even before she started her career, she had three strikes against her: a woman, a mother, and Jewish. One of the only 8 females studying in a class of 500 students, a feat in itself, even when her Harvard professor was convinced that she had in fact wasted a seat of a much more deserving male. The topper of law class of 1959 could find no law firm in New York willing to hire a woman attorney. She faced unemployment for many years. In 1971, she appeared before the court with a lead brief in Reed versus Reed case, where the court was convinced whether men would be preferred over women as heirs. Ruth won the first ever gender discrimination case. In 1972, she founded the Women's Right Project at ACLU and under this banner took numerous cases to court. News hit the newspapers questioning Columbia University's choices when Ruth was hired as their first female fully tenured professors. As she was pregnant there, to keep her job at the university, she wore loose clothes and overcoats to hide her pregnancy throughout, as it was a norm to hire pregnant women then. In 1956, her husband was detected with cancer. Not only was she taking care of him at that time and also their child, all the while she was busy making history, being the first woman ever to write the prestigious Harvard Law Review. So next slide, please. Here on the right hand side, we have a photo from the 1952 Harvard Law School class. We can see Ginsburg at the extreme right, second row from the top. She studied in an extremely hostile and male dominant environment. And on the right hand side is a poster which was released by Harvard Law School in 1978, celebrating Ginsburg's 25 years there, the first woman ever to graduate Harvard Law School. Before 1950, women weren't even allowed inside law school. So next slide. So, real change, enduring change happens one step at a time. RBG, as she is lovingly called, spoke these words about impact of change and how we all can make a difference. But there wouldn't be better words describing her career working towards equality and justice for all. Even though she is not here anymore, her legacy will live on forever. Here I have listed down a few of her groundbreaking decisions. In the State versus Virginia case, she held and admitted that the state-sponsored universities could not refuse to admit women just on the basis of gender, that everyone had an equal right to education. Before RBG, women, irrespective of their financial status, needed a male co-signer to get a credit card or a bank loan or even open a bank account. Ginsburg passed the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which made it unlawful for creditors or banks to discriminate on basis of gender. Women now no longer needed a male co-signer. The Equal Pay Act passed by Ginsburg made it mandatory for employers to pay equal wages for equal work done. This was in view of statistics that women were paid almost 24% less than what men made for the same job. She broke the proverbial glass ceiling when she declared that it was unlawful for employers to fire women, citing their pregnancy as a reason, a struggle that she faced herself. Women giving birth were now entitled to 24 weeks of fully paid maternity leave. RGB was of the opinion that it was a fundamental right of everyone, irrespective of their sexuality, to love and live with the person of their choice. She was one of the key votes that legalized same-sex marriages. The Right to Abortion Act, which she supported, was very historic in the view that only a woman has full right over her body and will decide what she wants and not the state. Her vocal and public dissent of the Supreme Court was a very egalitarian view. Sir, next slide, please. RBG's career is defined by the work that she did to help ensure that women would have gender equality and marginalized people would have equal rights under the law. Her transformative decisions brought the issue of gender discrimination under right that no gender has supremacy over the other. One of her law amendments was that widows and even widowers were both eligible for equal compensation after death of their spouse. Ginsburg's story is especially inspirational and meaningful, both for those near her own generation who suffered from the same discrimination in education and unemployment as she did, but also to those in generations to follow. Her pioneering and revolutionary thinking, her striving effort to bring more women into Supreme Court, as she always said, women belong in all places where decisions are being made. Throughout her career spanning over 4 decades, she was fighting for the rights of those whose mere independence was always threatened by the law, including women, the LGBTQ plus community, and the mentally challenged people. She believed that whatever our talents are, we shouldn't be held back by these artificial gender-based barriers. Even in death, she makes history as she becomes the only woman to be laid at rest at Capitol with 37 other men. She clearly was one of the women who worked their way up the patriarchal ladder and burned bridges to clear path for many more to come after her. To conclude this, I would like to quote one of her favorite lines. I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our neck and allow us to breathe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akansha, for taking up a judge and from the field of law. I think we have Madhura madam also, who understands about these situations. And the way you said that she was the only amongst the few women students who took up law, it reminded me about Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, who was the only lady to take up a course of breweries amongst all the men in Australia. Okay, so that was a beautiful presentation. And our next presenter is, just a minute. Yeah, our next presenter for the day is Anmol Pandey. Anmol.
Yes, I am there.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just open up your presentation. I would just like to tell the audience that Anmol is traveling somewhere, but still he is managing with the time. So thank you, Anmol. Yeah, Anmol is SY BSc student. Anmol, you can start your presentation.
Hello,
Yeah.
am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. A very warm good evening. A foremost guru in Kathak, born and brought up in a family with the tradition of Kathak, who gave his first performance at the mere age of 7, who had great energy and matched well with the rhythms. Yes, Pandit Birju Maharaj, due to moral support and guidance of his mentors, he became a wonderful, well-versed teacher at the mere age of 13, bringing dance forms from courts to modern era. His appreciation plaque list includes Sangam Kala Award, Nitya Shiromani Award, Padma Vibhushan, and a series to it. Next slide, please. Though he is now an eye-catcher Kathak guru, but start for his long journey was not at all easy. Hey Nachaniya were the demoralizing and deep heart-filling words which would have simply pulled him down. But despite of all these struggles, he is absolutely a great Pitamaha of a modern day Kathak. Next slide, please. Do bear with this all sounds, please. I'm extremely sorry. Hello. Gender bias, female empowerment, feminism. These are some typical stereotypes followed by our society. It's not a male or female being superior or inferior. It's all about equality. Women are given more sympathy. It's not about we feeling intimidated as they are on their highest post. Men's and women's are in every walks of their life creating equality. Birju Maharaj, Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra, Reni Richard, Naz Joshi, Ritika Yashini, and many more to this list are true, wonderful examples who have achieved pinnacles of their glory by being constant companion of continuity, punctuality, and determination, stepping the plutocratic and orthodox thinking ability of the society. Well, though we are living in the modern 21st century, art was never restricted or allotted for a particular gender. As Deepak sir himself is an excellent artist, has rightly explained it to me. If not everyone can be a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. I think so. Now it's a high time for judging a work, a skill, a developed talent on the mere basis of gender. Well, gender roles are a social construct when we attempt to assign strengths and weakness to either genders, isn't it? We literally cut our potential as the human race in half. और कब तक बेचारी का ढोंग रच दुनिया को बहकाना है, ये फेमिनिस्ट के नाम पर और कितने मासूमों को फंसाना है. यूं शराफत की कमीज ओढ़कर अपनी ढीली पतलून छुपाने चले हैं, ये तस्करी करने वाले आज नारीवाद के मोर्चे निकालने चले हैं. जॉन डिक्सन हैज राइटली सेड एंड आई एम ट्रांसलेटिंग इट, एकता से हमारा अस्तित्व कायम रहता है, विभाजन से हमारा पतन होता है. With this message, I'll end up my words expecting no bias and total equality from all my friends, teachers, members of this society, and even all my counterparts. Thank you, everybody, for being such a great spectator. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anmol. And by taking Pandit Birju Maharaj, you have touched a chord to me because as a male classical dancer, we also face a lot of criticism. And yet our gurus, and when we hear about these great gurus with the kind of struggle that they have gone through, we have realized that we at least live in a much better condition than these gurus. And if they have struggled for their art form, we also go, beyond the words that are spoken to us. Thank you for choosing this wonderful personality as Pandit Birju Maharaj ji. And that last photograph was very iconic with Pandit Birju Maharaj and Guru Kelucharan Mahapatra, two stalwarts, one from Kathak and one from the field of Odissi. Okay. I'll invite our next presenter, and that is Apurva Patankar. Apurva is a TYBA philosophy student. Yes, Apurva, you are audible. Yes, you can start your presentation, Apurva.
Yes. So first of all, a very warm good evening to one and happy Women's Day to all present here. And my name is Apurva, and I'm from TYBA Philosophy. So my theme, our theme is breaking the gender boundaries of work. And so next slide, please. So I took the personality as Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi. So and this I've headed as we or she, the people. So Lakshmi is a transgender or Izada right activist and Bharatnatyam dancer, choreographer, and motivational speaker in Mumbai, India. First transgender in India, she also the Acharya Mahamandaleshwar of Kinnar Akhada, first transgender to represent Asia Pacific in the United Nations in 2008. At the assembly, she spoke of the plight of sexual minorities. People should be more human-like. They should respect us as humans and consider our rights as transgenders. She said, "These efforts help the first gender team to scale a Himalayan peak, which is called as Friendship Peak in 2020. Lakshmi starred in an award-winning documentary in 2005, Between the Lines, India's third gender. Tripathi is featured in Project Bolo, a documentary series about LGBT Indians that have been released on DVD. In 2011, Lakshmi starred in Queen's Destiny of Dance and an award-winning Bollywood movie about Tisaras that garnered rave reviews. So next slide, please. So we Indians are today so blessed that we are living our lives as Indians in this generation, because India is one of the global leader in giving every gender their rights, be it of constitutional, judicially. Society, it is still a question mark. Their sexuality were like the Ganges. It took many turns and also got hit by many stones and the edges of it. And of society and people who were restricted by the gender. They have been treated completely like the outcasts. Lakshmi served on the boards of several NGOs which conduct LGBT activist work in 2002. She became president of the NGO Dai Welfare Society, the first registered and working organization for eunuchs in South. 2007, she started her own organization, Astitva. The organization works to promote the sexual minorities, their support and development. She left India for the first time and headed to Toronto, Canada for Asia Pacific Sex Workers Network for which her passport stated that she was a female, transgender, and eunuch. And in this, I would like to add that when she went first time to the Canada, she was being asked one question that Lakshmi, when did you really realize that you are different, or you came out to be different? So on that she replied, I was not different, or I did not realize this that I am different, but this society made me realize that I am different. Or the only first time I came out that from the womb of my mother, and that was the only first time, and I came out. So being a transgender was always, you know, no, the people try to tell me that this is something different, which was actually not. When Kavi started to appeal Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, which made homosexuality a crime, Lakshmi joined his team. During a press conference with the media and ZTV, she appeared in full makeup and women's clothing. Then is when her parents found out about her association with the Zira community. In April 2014, Indian Supreme Court recognized transgender rights, officially recognizing them as a third gender, which gives relief to an estimated around 3 million people within India. Lakshmi, along with legal agency, had petitioned the court to recognize transgender as a third category on all documents. Alongside this recognition, the courts have ordered the government to provide quotas in jobs and education, similar to the ones for the other minority groups in India. Government were also ordered by Apex Court to construct third washrooms and create health departments to take care of transsexual medical needs. They will also be entitled to adopt children and after reassignment surgery identify with their gender of choice. Lakshmi starred in an award-winning documentary in 2005, Between the Lines, India Third Gender. I guess this is repeated. Sir, can you please change the slide? Yes. So this is some few images I have took, and after centuries of ostracism, India's transgender community is challenging the Hindu religious establishment in an effort to reclaim that status. The face of their struggle is the trans activist Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi, who is at Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh, commanded her followers to bathe at confluence of the three holy rivers of the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati. And this was when the community finally got its due. Next slide, please. Okay, so on this, transgender men and women often face discrimination and hatred from families, friends, co-workers, and society. These harsh reactions usually stem from fear and basic the transgender community. By being an ally and showing your support of transgender people, you are doing your part to help and end ignorance surrounding transgender issues. If we do not now end our differences, at least we can help make the world safe and diversified. So I guess the biggest misery or sorrow in this world is the sorrow of being felt unloved, and that sorrow the uncommon or the transgender community faces. Their existence is being snatched away by the society themselves. This was stated by Lakshmi herself. So, and one more quote she has, I mean, one more she's quoted is, Hijras are sexual minority that is visible, and yet we are treated as the invisibles. I believe I was never invisible. I thought I am the face in the crowd, not the crowd. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Apurva, for taking up a wonderful personality who is hailed as icon amongst the transgender community. I think I'll welcome Usha Madam also. Usha Madam. I can see the name.
Yeah, ma'am is there.
Yeah.
Much there.
Yeah. Hi, good
Very
evening,
nice
ma'am.
presentations. Very impressed with a very good quality. And
Thank you.
each one of them have chosen very unique topics. And their thought process also is amazing. Huh? Very well done.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, their ideas are so brilliant. I mean, we are seeing a change in the
Yeah,
students.
see,
So,
Birju Maharaj, I could really not think about it, which is
yes,
very true. See, even till date, to accept a male dancer is not that,
yes,
isn't it? Because
yes,
somewhere we are biased. We correlate certain things with certain gender. And the time, it has come long back. We have to come out of this very bracketed thinking. Very
yes,
nice.
yes, ma'am.
All,
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
heard about 3 of them because I came just now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Continue, Deepak
Yes,
sir
yes, ma'am.
and
Yes,
Dodia
ma'am.
madam.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, all the best, children.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'll invite
And
our.
well,
Yes,
abhi wo
ma'am.
more dekha maine. Did she present from college?
कौन सा मैम?
Abhi wo last one.
हाँ, नहीं, कॉलेज में नहीं, उसके घर पे है वो.
Yes, ma'am.
वारली
Very true,
मैडम और
very
उसके
true.
घर पे है.
We have a Varli thing, in our staircase below.
Very nice, very nice.
Very nice.
Very well done and very good that you're recording it. Then we can have it on a website also. Very
Yes,
nice.
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Continue,
ma'am.
please continue.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll invite our next presenter,
Sir,
Bhavna
sir,
Acharya.
before-
Yeah. Yes, somebody was saying something.
Yes, sir. It's me. Before moving further, I would like to add on you that you said that there should be no female or male things in. Why there are things that as female and male as different. So recently, it's not recently actually, but in Indian Navy, there was sailor who was named, I guess, Tabiya, and she was discharged from the duty. I mean, she's joined at the age of 18 in the 2014, but later on, as she has reassigned her gender as female, she was discharged from the duty.
Oh.
So even after that, cases are still going on in the court. There is no any we can say a final or a conclusion or any call has been taken on that. So
Okay.
it's not that only female or male or a girl or boy can aspire for the defense, but I guess there should be third box or for the transgender or the third gender. It should be
Yes.
included.
Yes. That is what we are striving
you.
for.
Because, but I would add one more to it. People feel now have a feeling that there should be no box.
Yes. Indeed,
If you
ma'am.
remember Deepak,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Third box, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No, there has,
Yeah.
ma'am says there has to be no box.
No
more
box.
important
Yes.
Yes.
we recognize that.
Yeah. There should be no box, and there
No
should be
box at all,
as the word gender also has to be eliminated as we had
Yes.
initially. Yeah.
Very
The
much.
word itself is very
Yes.
problematic. Thank you.
Yeah. We have our next presenter, Bhavna Acharya. Bhavna?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah. Bhavna is our SYBA student. So I'll just share her presentation. Yes, Bhavna, you can start.
Thank you, sir. My name is Bhavna Acharya, and today I'm going to present on our living legend, Kiran Bedi. So I'm sure we all are a great fan of policemen like in Singham, but how many of us know our Lady Singham, our Iron Lady, Kiran Bedi? So here's a small glimpse from her life and work. Next slide. Kiran Peshwaria, our Kiran Bedi, was born in a Peshwaria business family in Amritsar, Punjab on 9 June 1949. While taking up formal education, she picked up a keen interest in lawn tennis, and at 17, she became the national junior lawn tennis champion and then went on to win the Asian Lawn Tennis Championship among several other trophies. Bedi completed her master's in political science from Punjab University, law degree from Delhi University, and PhD from IIT Delhi on drug abuse and domestic violence, where even women was not even allowed to be educated at that time. Kiran Bedi, but then created history in 1972 when she became the first female Indian police officer. Her competence and remarkable record soon established her in the profession, making her a household name in India. In her 35 years of police service, she played an important role in several areas, including reduction in crimes in Delhi's West District, campaigns against drug abuse, and introduction of several reforms at Tihar Jail, which gained worldwide acclaim and won her the Ramon Magsaysay Award in 1994. In 2003, she also became the first Indian woman to be appointed as the police advisor to Secretary General of the United Nations. She took voluntary retirement in 2007 for a new journey to face social challenges. But let's roll back into a little past. In 1975, her first posting was in Chanakyapuri subdivision of Delhi, where crimes in the area were mainly limited to minor thefts. But political demonstrations were a regular occurrence. In November 15, 1978, a group of Nirankaris and Akali parties near India Gate had severe clashes. Kiran Bedi, the then Deputy Commissioner of Police, was deployed to stop the protesters and prevent violence. As the protesters resorted to brickbatting, one of the demonstrators ran towards her with a naked sword. But regardless of her personal safety, she charged the said demonstrator and others with the cane, which ultimately succeeded in dispersing the demonstrators and restoring peace in the area. In May 1993, she was posted to Delhi prisons as the Inspector General of Police. Now, the challenge this time was the most notorious prison of South Asia, the most notorious prison in South Asia, the Tihar Jail of Delhi, a nightmare for most officers. It was a four-jail complex with an inmate capacity of 2,500 prisoners, but it housed close to 9,000 prisoners at that time. An overwhelming majority of these prisoners were under trials for non-bailable offenses, but Bedi took up the challenge and decided to turn it into a model prison. She introduced several notable reforms during the 3 years, 1993 to 95. She arranged vocational training for the prisoners with certificates so that they could find a job after their release, Vipassana meditation classes to change the prisoners' attitude, while additional activities such as sports, prayer, and festival celebrations were encouraged. A bakery and small manufacturing units, including carpentry and weaving units, was also set up, and the profits from the sold were put into prisoners' welfare fund. In this prison reform program, she involved outsiders, including NGOs, schools, civilians, and former inmates. She went on daily prison tours, observing the staff, listening to prisoners' complaints, inspecting food quality, and evaluating overall management. And as a result of her reforms, there was a drop in the fights and disturbances in the jail, and the program went on to receive worldwide acclaim. This short stint of Kiran Bedi is remembered as a golden period in the history of prison. She also founded two voluntary non-governmental organizations, Navjyoti in 1988 and India Vision Foundation in 1994, both of which were established to operate primary education and adult literacy programs and to offer vocational training and counseling services for women, as well as to provide drug rehabilitation for prisoners. Next slide. In 1979, when Bedi was posted to Delhi's West District, the region was grappling with high volume of criminal activity and sexual assault cases against women, and there were not enough officers to handle the unfavorable scenario. To handle this situation, she came up with a plan to combat the crimes with the help of recruited civilian volunteers. Each village thus began to be patrolled by 6 civilian recruits led by an armed policeman. She enabled an open door policy and implemented anonymous reporting about the knowledge of any crimes. This was miraculous because in a short span of 3 months, there was a sharp drop in number of cases related to eve teasing and sexual harassment. Furthermore, she also clamped down on bootlegging and a 200-year-old illicit liquor trade to reduce crimes in the area. She made no discrimination while holding classes and towing cars of traffic violators who were some famous names of that time, including Indira Gandhi, due to which she also became known as the Crane Bedi. But these clashes led her transfer to Goa. During this time, her 7-year-old daughter suffered from nephritic syndrome since the age of 3 and was seriously ill. But Bedi was not offered a leave and had to leave for Goa, leaving her daughter behind. In 1985, Bedi cleared several pending files and sanctioned 1,600 promotions in a single day to motivate her staff. In 2003, she became the first woman, as I said, and the first Indian to be appointed as the United Nations Civilian Police Advisor. In 2016, recently she was appointed as the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry Union Territory, and in her post she opened gates of Raj Niwas, that is the governor's residence, to the public, thereby making it the People's Niwas, where people can meet the Lieutenant Governor in person and have the grievances addressed. She is the true IPS working for law and order even after retirement, as she launched her new website www.saferindia.com/Kiran Bedi for those whose complaints are not accepted by the local police. Next slide. Today, in the 21st century, we talk of women empowerment, but she was the woman ahead of her time. Being the only woman in a batch of 80 men, she became the first female IPS officer in 20th century, that is 1972. Wherever she was posted, she introduced new reforms like transforming the Tihar jail to Tihar ashram, campaigning against drug abuse and setting up detox centers, educating and empowering women and standing for his fellow officers. She also led the anti-corruption movement in 2011 along with Anna Hazare. She never feared to do the right thing and always fought the wrong, due to which she also had many transfers, backlashes, and controversies from her own police department, from society, media, and government. But she is not only an inspiration for the women of today, but for men and every one of us. She teaches us the importance of hard work, to fight against all odds, to never give up, to keep trying until you achieve it. She teaches us the importance of financial independence, that if a woman wants, she can be anything. She can handle pressure, be an officer and a mother at the same time. We learn from her that women can handle power and responsibility and bring revolutionary change in the system and society. That she can be tough and sensitive both at the same time. Even Kiran Bedi struggled in the men-dominated society, but surpassed them every time, be it work, education, or sports. She constantly proved that women are not inferior to men and are capable to achieve anything and everything in life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhavna. And I think you chose a very perfect personality, because Kiran Bedi has been a role model for many of the policemen, as well as a big generation of girls have been fan of Kiran Bedi. And I recollect the very famous television program where Farooq Sheikh had
Yes,
Jeena Isi Ka
Aapki
Naam Hai,
Kacheri.
and where he interviewed Kiran Bedi, and that time when she expressed her views, you know, the way when she was posted for the first time in the jail, that time nobody would call her by respect. It was always wo ladki, even if they were subordinates to her. And after that one incident where she saved a number of children from the burning house, uske baad mein wo ladki ka sahab ho gaya. Okay, so that was a very beautiful change which we saw, and it was a very nice presentation. Thank you, Bhavna. And I'll invite our next presenter.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that is Riya Bhivandkar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll just share your presentation. Yes, Riya. Riya is our FY BSc Biotech student. Yeah, Riya, you can start.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Professor and faculty members, esteemed guests, judges, and my dear friends. Today, my topic of presentation is breaking the gender boundaries at work. I am highly inspired by personality of James Charles, a male makeup artist and internet influencer, and I shall be speaking about him. So next, please. I'll give you a brief background about James Charles. He's a 21-year-old American internet personality born in New York, US. He earned fame after he became CoverGirl's first male supermodel. Thus, he made history. He rose to fame because of his amazing makeup and extremely stunning beauty videos. Even after being partially blind, his passion for his work doesn't fade. James doesn't fail to surprise everyone each time with his unique style. So next slide. With fame comes great responsibilities, and that's what happened with James. He was only one of the few men in the industry, which is why he had to work extremely hard to break the boundaries of the society. Early in his career, James received online criticism for being a male makeup artist. His created looks are no less than an art. Charles is a true example of exhibiting determination to his work where success truly followed him. He faced many challenges and controversies in 2019. Tati Westbrook, a female makeup artist and internet influencer whom James looked up to as a motherly figure, accused James of sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior and tricking a straight man into thinking that he is gay. James responded to this accusation with a YouTube video, No More Lies, in which he clarified his image, talking about his side of the story. James was highly upset about the character assassination, but made firm determination to get back to his original goal and make original content. The trust of his fans and belief in him motivated him to put some great ideas at work. So next slide, please. What is gender equality? Gender equality is also known as equality of sexes is a state of equal ease of access to resources and opportunities regardless of gender. This includes economic participation and decision and the state of valuing different behaviors, aspirations and needs equally, regardless of a person's sexual orientation. In my view, boys are told the prototype to be man, that is liking sports, growing beard, getting muscles. They aren't allowed to have emotions and be emotionally vulnerable, while they are always told to be a man and men don't cry. While we embrace everything that defines a woman, but we still don't have any way to define masculinity. We all hope to live in a gender equal world where women are now encouraged to be whoever they want to be. But are we doing enough to put men for this equality? If you have the determination to work for your passion, then nothing can stop you. Equality isn't something that we should be striving for. It's necessity regardless of a person's sexual orientation. Thank you.
Very
Thank you so
beautiful
much, Riya.
presentation.
And even this was an eye-opener for many of us, where once again we have stereotyped things like fashion and makeup only for a specific gender, and how a man can also break the notions of these professions. Thank you so much for this wonderful talk. I'll now invite our next participant. Rutuja, are you there? Rutuja Sarode. I think she's not there. Next is Sakshi Mohile. Sakshi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Give me a minute. I'll share your presentation. Yes, Sakshi. Sakshi is FY BCom student.
A very good evening to all the teachers and my fellow students who are here today. So my name is Sakshi Mohile and I'm from FY BCom C division. So as all the presenters had chosen just one personality, or they stuck to one person and focused on them and talked about them in detail. But I felt that all the three topics that were mentioned, like women breaking gender stereotypes and excelling fields that were stereotyped for men, and men doing something which was stereotyped to be a woman's job, or transgenders excelling, all three topics were important and needed enough emphasis. So I have selected three such personalities, and all of them are Indians because we have gems in our own country. So why go far away? So in the first slide, I'll be talking about a woman who broke the mindset of the people who thought women are sensitive. In the second slide, I'll be talking about a transgender who worked her way to the top, and then a man who changed the definition of masculinity. So Usha Kiran, the first woman CRPF officer to be a part of Cobra. So as we all know that Indian armed forces are male dominated, and the female officers are often subjected to gender-based discrimination and prejudice. But 30-year-old commando Usha Kiran broke stereotypes within the Indian Army and became Bastar's first woman CRPF officer to be a part of Cobra, that is Commando Battalion for Resolute Action, a specialized unit of the Central Reserve Police Force that is proficient in guerrilla tactics and jungle warfare. So both her father and grandfather were a part of the CRPF. So when Kiran announced her decision to join the forces, her parents were supportive. So she joined the 232 Mahila Battalion of CRPF in 2014 as an assistant commandant. Later, she requested to be inducted into the Cobra unit alongside men on special. So when offered a choice for posting, her options were Jammu and Kashmir, which is an extreme left-wing state, or Northeastern France. So in 2016, she was finally posted in the Bastar region in Chhattisgarh, which is under constant asymmetric warfare. So Style magazine Vogue chose her as the Young Achiever of the Year 2018. So Kiran is also a proud role model for the other women looking to pursue a career in the forces. So this is what she says: if you have the power, then it becomes your obligation to encourage other women to be a part of the forces. So next slide. So next slide. Yeah. So the second personality is Shabnam Bano, the first Indian transgender MLA. So Shabnam Bano, who is also known as Mosi, is the first transgender Indian to be elected to public office, that is MLA. She was born in 1955, visibly intersex, and was given a masculine name. So her father, who was a police superintendent of a high caste, gave her away shortly after her birth to protect his own social image. So she attended only 2 years of primary schooling, but she learned 12 different languages during her travels throughout the country. So she was elected as an elected member of the Madhya Pradesh State Legislative Assembly from 1998 to 2003. So after transgenders were granted voting rights in India, that is from 1994. So as an MLA, her agenda included fighting corruption, unemployment, poverty, hunger, and speaking out against discrimination against transgenders, hijras, eunuchs, cross-dressers, and raising awareness against HIV or AIDS. She inspired many transgenders to take up politics. My next personality is Siddharth Batra, an Indian male beauty influencer. So as we all know, the beauty industry is predominantly ruled by women. Makeup and skincare products are a must-have for a woman, but using them is a big no-no for men. But in this revolutionary age of social media, some men are breaking these norms. And one of these men is Siddharth Batra. He is an Indian male beauty influencer from Delhi. He was raised in the suburbs where boys were taught and expected to be tough and portray masculinity through their behavior and appearance. But his decision of entering the beauty industry was no less than a revolution against all those regressive ideologies. He works as a model and posts makeup and skincare tutorial videos on his Instagram page. So he was extensively trolled and received a lot of hatred for his work. But that didn't stop him from chasing his dreams. What kept him alive, optimistic, and determined to go on with his page was his love for makeup. He thought that he can do makeup, teach makeup, and influence others like any other female artist on the internet for a change, and to tell people that beauty has no and makeup has no gender. He started sharing his videos on Instagram with the hashtag that said Guy Beauty Videos. So next slide. Okay, so these are my views on gender equality and gender discrimination. So many jobs in this economy are gender stereotyped. For example, firefighting is thought to be a men's job, whereas nursing is thought as a woman's work. These gender-based stereotypes, which shape our expectations about whether a man or a woman is better fit for a given job, are powerful because they lead to a bias and discrimination and leave a major impact on the concept of employment as a whole. So in India, we can see gender discrimination on a large scale, where men are stereotyped as the breadwinners of the family and women are expected to be the homemakers. So even today in many parts of India, which is a patriarchal society, women doing jobs and earning a living is a taboo, as people with such oppressive ideologies believe that a woman's sphere is her house. So apart from this, women who come from liberal families whose parents are supportive also face discrimination at workplace. Women are often subjected to prejudice, be it gender pay gaps, harassment, or discrimination. Females are expected to be soft-spoken, polite, obedient, and submissive. Jobs are stereotyped according to general roles. So industries like defense, politics, construction, tourism, banking, finance are male-dominated. But many women are breaking these gender norms by taking up jobs which are stereotyped by the society as suitable only for men. Women are fighting these discrimination and are bridging many such gaps. Similarly, industries like healthcare, education, law, beauty, and fashion are dominated by females. Right from a very young age, boys are taught to be resilient, masculine, and dominating. Girls are often told to behave like a girl, and boys are told not to behave like a girl. This is where it starts. Sexism starts from our very own houses. Boys who take care of their skin or apply even a basic product like Vaseline, or boys who like dancing are made fun of. They are mocked. They are trolled and bullied by their friends and relatives. They become a laughing stock, and this can have a serious impact on their mental health. But many men have broken such taboos by taking up professions that are meant to be a woman's job. Even transgenders face a lot of discrimination and are often sidelined by the society, who blames them for something which they don't have control over. They don't get as many job opportunities as the other two sexes do. They are even abandoned by their own families and struggle to earn a living. Breaking gender stereotypes and fighting sexism is not easy. One may face a lot of criticism, hate from the society, but one can win even the toughest battle with hard work, determination, and perseverance. The society needs to liberalize. It's the 21st century, and even the impossible is possible. This is just the beginning. There will be a day when we all would have won this battle against gender discrimination. So, as many of us know, International Women's Day is tomorrow. That is on 8th of March. Some of us know that International Men's Day is on the 19th of November, but there are only a handful of people who know that International Transgender Day is on 31st of March. So I would like to end by saying a quote, that gender discrimination or gender equality is not just a woman's issue. It's a human issue. It affects us all. Thank you.
Beautiful presentation. Really beautiful.
Yes. Thank you, Sakshi, for covering a whole lot of issues and talking about Shabnam Mosi. I remember seeing a documentary on National Geography, and that literally moved me to tears, because the way Shabnam Mosi expressed that they don't have any child of their own, and the anguish with which she expressed, हमारा तो कोई बच्चा है नहीं, हम अगर बच्चा लेंगे भी तो पालेंगे तो भी वो कल को हम पे ही उठ जाएगा। सो इससे तो अच्छा जो लोगों ने हमको जिताया है वही हमारे बच्चे हैं, हम उनकी ही सेवा करेंगे। एंड द पेन दैट शबनम मोसी expressed in that interview I really felt, very bad at that time. But now, with the young generation who is very vocal about all these things, very sensitive, I think surely things will change. And now we have the last presenter with us, Shraddha Pal. Now, though Shraddha's presentation may not be in the very framework of the topic which we had given, but because we are talking about equality and Shraddha's presentation talks about points of equality, so I would like Shraddha Pal to talk about her presentation. And don't worry, Shraddha. Okay, your presentation is about equality for everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. She was nervous because her presentation was not fitting into the framework of other participants. And she just messaged me, sir, I have this problem. I said, no worries. Your presentation is about equality and it is for everybody.
And we are anyway
I would
breaking the
like to say,
biases, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Sakshi
Okay.
was saying something.
Yes,
Well,
Sakshi.
ma'am, I just have a word for encouragement for Shraddha. So you don't need to fit in. If you stand out, that's better.
Yeah,
All the best.
sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So, sir, can I start?
Yes, Shraddha, you can start.
So, a very warm good morning to everyone. I, Shraddha, the student of SY BCom from RJ College, is going to give you a short, we can also short idea or short meaning, I can say, on our topic, that is gender equality. So, can you please next slide, please. So our topic is breaking the gender boundaries of work. So according to me, or given in the Wikipedia or Google, we can say gender equality is also known as sexual equality or equality of the sexes. Gender equality is when people of all gender have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. Society that value women and men as equal are a bit safer and healthier, we can say. Gender equality is a human right. So can you please change this slide? So gender equality is also known as equality of the sexes, is the state of equal ease of access to resource and opportunity regardless of gender, including economic participation and decision making, and the state of valuing different behaviors, aspiration and need equally regardless of gender. So gender equality, we can say that if gender, the word gender equality, inequality, if we pronounce it, then we can say that the very first thing in our mind will come about the transgenders. So gender equality has been a social issue in India for many of the centuries. Patriarchal norms have marked women as inferior to men. uh, uh, so can you change the slide, please? uh, how to achieve gender equality, from my views, that there are many views that donors can make an impact on gender equality. The United Nations offers suggestion oriented around SDG 5. Below are some steps to here are some steps to achieve gender equality. Talk to women and girls. According to me, involving women and girls and involve women and girls in decision making at every level will empower them to contribute valuable insight and boost up other women. Talking to women and girls, or involving in the decisions, for general example, we can say that at our house, in our house, we never give the priority to the woman, that yeah, even she can have the, even she can put front the ideas. So from this point, I want to say that talking and involving women or girls in the decision making helps to improve gender equality. Second point is stop child marriage and sexual harassment. Children who marry instead of attending schools have few number of options to better their situation throughout their lives. We can say sexual harassment causes trauma and exclude women from being full participant in important setting like school, work, politics, and their communities. Estimates suggest that each year that at least 1.5 million girls under 18 get married in India, and nearly 60% adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 are currently married. So we can stop child marriage. Actually, we can say that child marriage have been stopped in many in many states of India, but sexual harassment is not. So we have to make any kind of we have to take any action on sexual harassment on women. So the next point is stop the violence. Violence against women keeps them from achieving their goals. Properly addressing domestic violence is essential. Violence has been very much hello violence has been violence against women has started again from yeah, we can say that in some areas of rural areas, we can say we have we have many much violence against women. So we should stop it, or the one woman should stop it. She could she has to understand that what is wrong. The next is raise aspiration of girls and their parents. Girls and their families need to believe in and get desire great responsibilities in order to achieve them. Even girls has the right to participate in everything. When girls has the right to aspire themselves, and uh, uh, where we can say the first thing that their parents should aspire them, influence them for participation in everything, whether it is household activity, or we can say other activities itself. Getting women in power can break down barriers and allow for the success of other women. This mean in every sector and every industry, including global health. This point can be explained in as breaking down the gender barriers is allow for the success of other women. I have a quote over here that behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. So with this I want to take some of the transgender personalities. I want to take some names of transgender personalities who influence the transgenders, and obviously the young generation of India a lot. So they are the Gauri Sawant, who fought immensely for the transgender rights. Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi ji, who's one of the most influential transgender people. She is also a Bharatnatyam dancer and an activist currently based in Mumbai. Satyashri Sharmila registered as Tamil Nadu's first transgender lawyer in 2008. Shabi Giri, who was working as an Indian naval officer. She was dismissed from her job after the sex reassignment surgery that made her a trans woman. She had never felt like a man all her life and was mentally harassed. The next is Dr. Manabi Bandyopadhyay. She is the India's first openly transgender college principal, born as the only son among two sisters. Padmini Prakashji, who scripted history by becoming the first trans woman new anchor of Lotus News, a local Tamil channel. K. Pritika Yashini, she was the first trans woman to become a police officer in India. Joita Mondalji, in 2017, Joita Mondalji became the country's first transgender person to be appointed as a judge in Lok Adalat. And Nitisha Biswaji is the winner of the first ever trans beauty pigment. Shabnam Bano, especially known as Shabnam Mosi, she is the first transgender Indian to be elected to the public office. So these were some transgender personalities, and among them we can not we, especially I can betterly known as Gauri Savanji, because we met her in our college. So I just want to thank the staff members and all our teachers that you invited the uh, personality like Gauri Sawant in our college, and we have came to know that what are the problems they face, the transgender especially face when they are in the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shraddha. And yes, the talk by Gauri Sawant did inspire to a lot of our students, and the struggle that these people have overtaken, and all these personalities in fact have had struggled so much that you students presented it very beautifully. And I can see that, you know, we have a very bright future for all the activities in the college, your future activities. I think the future is in good hands. Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. Amit madam, would you like to give some inputs?
Yeah, it was excellent. I mean, actually, I'm spellbound completely, you know, thinking beyond the boundary is the need of the time. And I think we have started with this, and with the you know, encouragement from our principals and from director madam, and also we have Madhura madam, principal of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti is a law college. And you know, so much of inspiration that we are having around, and we see that there is nothing of like being male or female or any other gender that is dominating or suppressing somebody. It is everyone at par, and this gives you know, a cause for celebration. And really, I'm finding it that students are coming up, and I have learned so much from them. Thank you for all of you for being there. You know, you have really made our day. And not only that, given such a innovative and exclusive ideas which are making us think, as I told you before, that wherever I am, I exist. Wherever, whoever I am, I exist. And whenever I am, I exist. So thank you for being there. Thank you so much.
The students, we'll just take a quick I mean,
Yeah.
teachers discussion for just wait for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
We'll
I have
not take much of
I
the
have
time.
Deepak sir, I have a suggestion that there is a
Yes,
beautiful
ma'am.
4 minutes film, Dani, on women emancipation, empowerment. We can show them, and meanwhile we can just finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, ma'am. Sure,
that
ma'am.
would be best.
Yeah,
Madhura
ma'am.
madam, are you all right with this?
Uh,
Pranali madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we let them see this, and
Yeah.
we can come up, you know, with
Yeah,
some
students, you
conclusion.
can just enjoy this short film, and by the time this ends, we'll be back with you. Okay, we are there in this meeting itself. We are just doing a small discussion.
Sorry, just a second. Huh?
Ma'am.
Okay. All the participants kindly wait.
Deepak.
Yes. Yes,
You
Shraddha.
encouraged me that so much.
Yes,
No,
yes.
you have taken effort, so you should present.
Because I was not ready to present actually.
No problem. You're always welcome. We want to shatter all the barriers, and we are very selfish in part of knowledge, you know. In matter of knowledge, we all want knowledge. We have to be selfish in some matter, and that is knowledge, wisdom. Just let me know if you can, there is sound, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Just a minute. Huh?
Danny, look at yourself. Did you not get any sleep?
Honey. Danny. What? Why are you yelling? Were you playing on your computer again?
Mom, how many times do I have to tell you? I'm not playing, I'm editing my short film.
When are you gonna start thinking about getting a real job?
What do you mean? I want to be a director. That is a real job.
Danny, your dream is just a hobby. You just start thinking practically.
Sweetie, do you think we're being too harsh on her?
Harsh. No. We care about our daughter. This is clearly not the right path for her. It's foolish for a girl to think she can go in this field. Why do you think you only see men on film credits?
Everything okay, Danny? Why do you care? I'm your mother. Of course I care. Tell me what's wrong.
You want to know what's wrong? What's wrong is the fact that Dad is being sexist and you're not doing anything to stop him. It's 2017, Mom. Who says that women can't do the same thing that men can do? Oh, and the reason why there's barely any females in the credits of film is because of parents like you. Parents who don't encourage their daughters to pursue their passions. You are so close-minded that you don't see the potential that women have in their fields. Fields like film work, politics, business, or any of that. You're a woman! You know what we're capable of. So why not follow our dreams?
Honey, I'm so sorry. I wish I had your strength and courage to speak up. I want you to be happy and show the world that females can do anything men can do. We are going to talk to Dad. No one is going to stop you from doing what you love and what you're good at.
So friends, we are there with the results. Pranali madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read in the WhatsApp group that we have put? Deepak sir, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Your insights would be very helpful. Madam is present.
Madhura ma'am, I don't think so is there.
Acha. Madhura madam.
She was there in the beginning. Maybe
Yeah.
she might have logged
I
out.
am
or
there.
something. Yeah,
I'm
Usha
there.
ma'am is there.
Yeah, please. Your comments, madam, please.
I have no comment. I become speechless.
Same here, actually.
Very,
Spellbound,
very
you know,
nice. And I
completely.
think the way you all have conducted is commendable, and students were superb.
Really,
So
very
I'm just waiting for your final remarks.
Yeah. Deepak sir, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this beautiful evening, I think International Women's Day will really be the highlight, because we talk a lot about women, but one of our participants did include that there is an International Men's Day, there is an International Transgender Day, which we seriously do not even think about. Okay, so it was really wonderful to listen to all these students. I mean, when I received all the presentations, I was very happy with the personalities, but I somewhere at the back of the mind, I was going on, you know, that whether the students will be able to put their emotions into this presentation, the way they have written the points and the personality that they have chosen. But honestly, all these students have, you know, all my doubts and which I had, the students have cleared out. And on the basis of the personality chosen, on the basis of their emotional clarity, their conveying abilities, this is nowhere in any particular order. Okay, it was that the best, all of you are the best. Okay, that is why you have presented here. It is just that we have to select some people as the gender champion. In fact, all 10 of you are champion in the sense that you have researched about these people and you have talked about these people and you have the views about their life, and I'm sure you will be inspired by these people and many more. Okay, so by our mutual agreement, I think the gender champions for this year, that is year 2020-21, though it has been a year where there is a lot of distancing, but by virtual platform we have been together, and though it may be a distancing year, but I think a lot of introspection has gone amongst the adults as well as the younger generation, and that has led to this kind of blooming lotus that has come up. Okay, so I'll just announce down with Amit madam and Usha madam's permission. The gender champions for this year is Riya Bhivandkar from FY Biotech, Sakshi Mohile from FY BCom, Anmol Pandey from SY BSc, and Aditi Singh from SY Biotech. So wonderful presentation by these students and the way they communicated their emotions. So congratulations to all, and special congratulations to these 4 students, Riya Bhivandkar, Sakshi Mohile, Anmol Pandey, and Aditi Singh, for being chosen as the gender champions for the year 2020-21. A big round of applause for
Congratulations.
everyone.
Thank you, sir and
Deepak sir,
ma'am.
Deepak sir, if I may just add, they all get certificates, and the gender champion has the privilege of getting award at the academic prize distribution, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And the name also appears in our college magazine. May I request you all to send the original video to DP so that he can put it on our website.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, it was really very, very good.
Yes.
Very nice.
And
congratulations,
madam, we have already decided to give a participation certificate to all.
Sure. Everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
It will not be an E1. Deepak sir, if you could just design one beautiful one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I just had a word with Amit madam about it, that I am designing a beautiful certificate for all these students.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
They will get it. They can collect from DP.
Yes.
Whenever you all come to college, you can put your signature and they can collect it from DP.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Hearty congratulations.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. And we conclude and we invite Pranali madam to give vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Professor Pranali. I'm here to propose a vote of thanks for today's function. On behalf of Ramniranjan Jhunjhunwala College, I propose sincere vote of thanks to our management of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti, and I express my deep sense of gratitude towards our director of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti, Dr. Usha Mukundan madam. Madam, thank you so much for being here with us. We propose our sincere thanks to Principal Dr. Himanshu Dauda for his unconditional support to all our endeavors. We are thankful to Captain Praveen Nayak for supporting us. We are thankful to Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti's Law College Principal, Dr. Madhura Kalamkar Madam. We are thankful to Dr. Amit Valmiki Madam for being a strongest pillar of gender equity cell. We thank Mr. Devi Prasad Shetty for his valuable technical support for today's program. We are also thankful to Arbaz for all his help in spreading a word of this about this program, not just to degree college students but also to junior college students. A very big thank you to all my dear students for wonderful presentations, and we really enjoyed it a lot. And this was very informative and very interesting also. On my personal behalf, I would like to thank Professor Deepak Pujari sir for wonderful arrangement, for wonderful organization. He coined this idea of presentations. So thank you so much, sir, for all this planning and the efforts that you took. Thank you so much. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. We conclude the program.
Thank you so much.
Deepak sir, you may just
Yes,
conclude.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
The participants, you will be getting your certificate soon, and I'm not dissolving the group till you people get your certificates. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.